be crucified.
Listen!
What? The body of our Lord God?
Angels shining. It's true.
Believe us. Believe us.
We saw the Lord was gone.
About while I was still with you. Prophets and the Psalms had to come, and rise from the dead on sins must be preached to all. I myself, until the power from above.
This morning, some of you felt during that to another emotion again, a near-death experience on one of our far away from people. It was raining season. We couldn't speak any. He leaves the city of Volgograd. In Iowa, you can see nothing. This was things. And Sharon remembered, I couldn't hear the radio back speakers. This is the pinnacle of what's extraordinary, as the choir sang. Hopelessness. After imagining for the great grief to how long would that have taken? Wow. By great joy. Now, when evening had come, marveled that if he had been dead for some time, and Mary Magdalene, where he was laid, had risen, and they, in a long white robe, armed, was going before you into Galilee, said to you, and were amazed, afraid. Mary Magdalene out and wept. He did not believe those to them. God hands on the sick, and they experienced the low call. They were very against the Roman authorities. Was buried, we're told. Their own leader. I don't know what they expected, especially mothers, without even thinking about it. Maybe they would end, of course, on Palm Sunday. All these 3 years was watched from a distance, him the people to follow him. Here's how it inspired this crusade. We're already in. They had gone to Pilate and come and steal the body. This is when he was alive. They had followed him. He could now be. So they helped him. They was collecting on down the list of him. They were separated from ministry. They didn't. Now again, when you think of some of those kinds, I just wasted all of. Think of with Jesus, their both supported him. Not only that, and all of this effort, and not power enough. The desert. How could the years of being with him, how incredibly to any who had remembered, by the way, you say it, wish they had died. A mess is news of the resurrection. No, they refused. They refused on the screen to Luke 24:11. There's a lot to watch that had them. We're not the same went into the country, other gospel to the rest, but we've been to. So he said to them, I see in his hands, into his side. Forget it. Interesting. Jesus knew their thoughts, he knew their feelings, every word they said, their unbelief, and after he had this rising from the dead, it's very stand in Sunday school or what, but they never on. It was the women. The women were surprised. Some emotions of the women. Verse 4. Them in shining garments, so roughest, toughest, his words. You mean when Jesus imagined it? Possible not only were those heavenly creatures who spoke to anyone. It's true. Anything to anybody. Really doesn't disciples saying that she's so in there and they're amazed. You can't possibly have only a stranger in Jerusalem. What things? These things happened. Angels who said he was alive. Women had said. He sat down. They begged him to stay near to them. And their eyes now these travel in the darkness and ran in the darkness. That how are you terrified and they were terrified to believe it. Marveled. And he said to them, belief, But Jesus died before Thomas saw Jesus. Everyone else is now doors being shut, stood in the middle. And he said to Thomas, reach, my Lord, seen me. You have believed. Believe. All Jesus Christ could stand up, and in Jerusalem out there, unbelief of these words. Now I ask you, Jesus Christ, I trust it was not taken to put our faith in Jesus Christ the way to heaven. The only way, the evidence, Thomas, they were the greatest. Changed you, the neighborhood beside you. Can they live by watching your life? Week, I went to a Home Depot. Said, why are you so happy? Okay, hired as a detective. Them are happy. They are so boy. We need to be happy. I said, be happy, right? The story over and over again. These followers were, how Father, we thank you and praise you for death, victory over sin. The changed who went out, who could preach Father of Jesus Christ and the joy. Thank you for the opportunity right hearts today. Thank you for the death of Jesus.